Hey friends, happy Thursday. I hope you all are having a wonderful week. It is the eve of SBC Fest, so I thought I would do a little pre-show and craft along with all of you using some of the kits from SBC Fest that I've picked up, and I thought that I would share some inspiration. I have 4 different cards planned tonight, so of course I thought it would be fun that you all joined me. If you have these kits, maybe join along and craft with me. It's going to be a fun-filled weekend packed with tons of inspiration. And of course, there's links down below to everything that you need to know. If you want to make sure that you're signed up for notifications for SBC Fest, Scrapper.com has a really nice kind of laid out page where you can watch all day long with them and access the live chat and the kits there, which is really great. I also have some deals and discounts down below. If you use the code SBCFest right now at Scrapper.com, you'll get an extra 10% off your entire purchase of whatever you buy. There's also a deal going on at Brutus Monroe using some of the products that I'm going to share in today's video, where if you spend $20 using my link, you're gonna get a shattered overlay sparkle foil kind of sheet, which I'll share during today's live. It's a really amazing product. And so only having to spend $20 and getting that for free is so awesome. And you can only do that exclusively with my link down below. So follow that link. If you spend $20 at Brutus Monroe, the extra sparkle overlay will populate in your cart. If you see it there for $0, you know you've hit the right thing and you've used that link down below. All right, guys, I see lots of you in the chat. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be a fun stream. By the way, if you want notifications for future streams like this, click the link down below that says sign up for text messages. I wasn't able to send it out tonight because it just didn't work for some reason, but usually in the future you'll get a text then for every single live stream and you won't miss them like today. All right, let's jump into what the 3 kits that I have look like, and then we'll get right into crafting along with them. All right, so all of the kits come in these really awesome Scrapper.com zipper pouches. I use these to store supplies in, but you can always keep your kits in them, which is really great, but they're just a really nice quality and they come with every single one of the kits. This first kit is Lawson's, and I'm telling you, I'm always so impressed by SBC Fest kits because of the price that Scrapper.com is able to give you them at. It is insane, the deals that they're able to give you, okay? So this kit is an $101 value and it is $26, plus you can use that SBC Fest code for an extra 10% off. So this has a really great watercolor patterned cardstock, which is beautiful. Look at all of those amazing colors already done for you. Then there's this stencil called Butterflies, which of course we'll be using a lot of this during today's live stream. Then we have heirloom butterflies. I have been loving this die set. It's got some different layering butterflies in it in all different shapes and sizes to really create lots of different looks of the butterflies on your cards. Then you have the nested vintage labels, which this is really great for just a really fun kind of looking label on a card if you create a background. And then we have the essential sentiments, which creates all these really great sentiments like hi, thanks, thank you, and thinking of you. So I mean, this is incredible that you get it for $26. Honestly, one of these large die sets is probably $26 alone. So an insane deal to be getting all of these supplies for $26. And again, that's Lawson's kit. All of the kits and all the supplies that I use are linked down below in the description box. And if you click the link that says full supplies list with pictures, it's helpful to have that open while I'm doing the stream so you can kind of find the different pictures and find them a lot easier for what we are looking at. All right, then we have just an Adkins kit, and again, comes in one of these really nice bags. This kit is more birthday themed, and this one is $98 usually, but you can get it for $24. Crazy. So this is the Streamers 3D embossing folder, which we're definitely gonna use in today's live stream. Really great textured embossing folder, and I mean, you can't go wrong with this for birthdays. I use birthday supplies so often because I find that I'm always making birthday cards, so these sets are really fun. Then you have these really large balloon dies, which create all different sizes of the balloons and these really great little highlights on them as well. So this one is called Nested Round Balloons. The Cheers banner is really fun because you get cheers to you, which you can use as a full shadow or separately and kind of create your own little banner. And then you have these really great little streamers as well. Sweet, so look at that. And then You get a nice mixed media paper pad in here, which is really, really heavyweight, kind of like watercolor mixed media paper that you can use for all of your inky techniques, which is gonna be awesome. So this is all what comes in just an Adkins kit, usually $98, and this is $24 now. Amazing, and I mean so great for creating birthday cards all year long. That one is gonna go to great use. And again, like, you're gonna get these for SBC Fest, but I've already created 2 videos using these and giving a bunch of inspiration, which you can find again linked down below for those videos. But then, like, there's so many things you could do with these products after you get all the inspiration tomorrow too, which is amazing. This is Gina K's kit. Gina K's kit usually retails for $68 and it's $44. So again, a great value. Gina's stuff is always amazing. This stencil is called Elegant Ovals. I'm gonna show you a fun way to use this one in kind of a new way. Then we have Textured Silhouettes, which is this great stamp set. It's got different florals and stuff that's very Gina's style. Some really great sentiments, which I love from Gina. She chooses some really great scripted fonts and then some cool texture stamps that you can use as well. And then of course, the coordinating die set to cut out all of the images and sentiments from the set. Awesome. So we can put these away now that we've taken a look at them. And again, this one is $68 usually, down to $44. And again, don't forget the coupon code SBCFest for an extra 10% off of anything from scrapbook.com, okay? So let's jump right into the first card. For the first one, I'm gonna use this kit from Lawson, and I'm gonna start off with the Butterfly Stencil. So we're gonna use the Butterflies Stencil. And for starters, we're gonna do some ink blending. And I wanna dive into the Stark White Cardstock Sampler Pack. So this is available right now at scrapbook.com. What's awesome about this Stark White Cardstock Sampler Pack is if you are unsure, because you know white cardstock is white cardstock, sometimes you can't tell through the screen what it does. This Stark White Cardstock takes ink and water really beautifully for all of my inking and stamping techniques, but if you want to try it out without having to buy a whole pack of cardstock, this is a great way to do so. And they have these at scrapbook.com exclusively right now. You get 2 full sheets of cardstock, 4 card panels, 2 top folding card bases, and 2 side folding card bases that are pre-cut and scored for you, which is really amazing. And I thought before we get into it today, I just want to show you what the difference is between these cardstocks. So I pulled out a cardstock that you can get in a ream. Like, this is just a cardstock you can buy on Amazon that you can get into a ream. And I actually used to use this for all of my crafting before I found Stark White Cardstock. And honestly, I get a lot of questions as, you know, people are crafting and they might not get a blend that looks exactly like mine, or their cardstock isn't really doing what they want it to with my inks. Sometimes it's the cardstock and not necessarily the ink that you're using that is maybe a little bit wrong. A lot of cardstocks have kind of a coating on the surface, which doesn't allow the ink to sink fully into it and give you a really vibrant color. So I just wanted to show you what the difference can be, because you might not be able to tell there's a coating on it when there really is, okay? So I'm gonna go in here with just some Prom Queen Stellar ink, and I'm going to blend out on both of these cardstocks. So here is the smoother cardstock that I've just purchased from a ream off of Amazon. And again, I used to use this all the time for crafting because look, I mean, you can tell that you would think, right, this blend is beautiful already. And the color goes down nice and vibrant right now, and you can keep layering up this color. But what you'll notice is as I keep layering up this color, the cardstock gets almost this like shine to it. And then if I rub my finger on it, you're gonna get fingerprints all over the place. And I see people talking about trying to avoid fingerprints and stuff like that. That's also your cardstock. Because the ink isn't fully drying down into the cardstock right away, it's just sitting on the top of the surface. That's where you get those fingerprint problems that you might have in your cardstock, okay? Whereas if we go to Stark White Cardstock, this takes the ink really nicely because there's no coating. So it's super absorbent with watercolor and inks and stuff like that right away. It really takes the ink and soaks it into the cardstock right away. So you're gonna get that really nice smooth blend and really vibrant color from the cardstock. But what I love so much is that you can really let it sink down into it. And then with techniques and stuff, you can keep layering your color over and over and it won't stop taking the color. Okay, so let me show you here. We can layer this color up. It's already probably more vibrant than that color, and that's just 2 coats. And we can keep going in and adding more and more color down. And you'll notice it's not as glossy, right? This sinks right into the cardstock. You're not gonna struggle with fingerprints on this cardstock, and you can already tell just by that first blend, look at how much darker that gets. But you wouldn't be able to tell, like, if you only had this cardstock at home, you'd be like, oh, that's a great blend, right? But look at the difference there. You can use this with layering. You can really layer up your inks much more and get a much more saturated color with it because there's no coating on the surface. So that's the major difference between stark white cardstock. But the real difference is once these inks dry into the surface, what's it gonna look like, right? So the ink is dry really in here, but it hasn't absorbed fully into the cardstock. So let me show you. This is what it looks like absorbed fully. I did this right before the live stream, and check that out. Look at that. It almost oxidizes on here because there's a coating on the other cardstock. It almost turns into like an oxidized version of the prom queen, whereas stark white cardstock dries and smooths down. It really smooths out nicely, but it doesn't lose all of that pigment and go to a much lighter color. So believe it or not, there's no magic here. That's just what the color looks like once it's completely sunk into the cardstock. So you'll definitely want to try it out if you've been struggling or you notice that your cardstock is kind of not giving you the results and the vibrancy that you want. Definitely try out stark white cardstock. And again, the awesome part is you can get it in a pack like this from scrapbook.com. That sampler pack is a really great way to test out all of the different ways that we sell it before you commit to any sort of cardstock in the pack. So wanted to share that before we got into it, because I'm gonna do some really great ink blending at the start here, and I just wanted you to share like what the main difference is so that you know, because it really is insane once you actually see it compared like that. Okay, so let's get in here now with a little bit of water to clean up our ink off the surface, and let's do some ink blending. So to do this, I'm gonna pull out my Altenew sticky grid mat. I really love this Altenew mat, and guess what? I actually store it inside of one of these zippered pouches. So if you use this mat and you are wondering how to store it to keep the dust and debris off of it, to make sure that it's nice and sticky, definitely use one of those from the SBC Fest kits and store your mats in it. So I love this mat because it's got a grid on the back so that it sticks down to your surface, but it doesn't get air bubbles in it. So it doesn't move around, but it's not gonna be hard to peel off. And the flat side is the side you're gonna work on. So I'll dig into that sampler pack and grab a piece of my stark white cardstock and lay it right down onto the mat. And this is gonna hold it in place while we do our ink blending, so it's not gonna move all over our surface, okay? Pocket Full of Color said, is it a chemical process? The difference is really huge. It really is just like once the ink dries, how it's gonna look, because when ink dries, it dries onto the surface pretty quickly, but it doesn't settle into the cardstock right away. So it just gives it time to like sink in and kind of smooth out. Lots of inks have different smoothing agents and dry differently. So that's just what it looks like once it dries back fully. It's kind of crazy, right? The different coatings on the cardstock and what difference that's gonna make with your inks. So to do my color blend, I'm going to dive into one of the color cubes. These color cubes are really awesome. I have them linked down below as well. There's 4 different color cubes. I'm going into color cube number 2. And I'm gonna pick out a color from it. What's awesome about these cubes is if you struggle with picking colors or you feel like you're stuck in a rut, these are really awesome because they've got different like categories in here, and then you can go in and like look. They've got different color cards that really show you a bunch of, like, oh, that one is so cool. Different color combinations that you might not think to do. And I feel like sometimes with my inks, I stay in a rut with like choosing the exact same colors for every card. So this is cool because it's gonna give you the opportunity to find new colors from the color palette that you already have. And so you'll pull out one of these and just create some really beautiful cards using, like, look at that, using the colors inside of here. So each one of these has, I think, 500 cards to really fully inspire you and get you using new color combinations, which is awesome. So I'm gonna go into the petals and blooms. I've already picked out my color combination, but I mean, like, look at how cool these are. Amazing. And I picked one that's, oh, that one is gorgeous. I picked one that's kind of a cool rainbow, but it's got a different look to it because of the tones that they use. So let me dive in here. It's this one. Yep, 418, I love that. So we're gonna go in with 418. So if you have these at home, you can follow along or grab another card from your color cube. And again, there's 4 of them. So you get different color combinations in each one, and there is so many color combinations that you can choose from. So 418, I love this because it's got some really great colors that's gonna create a rainbow, but again, it's got different shades in here that you wouldn't usually think to put together that I think are so, so stunning. So For this top color, I'm gonna choose Tropical Tango, just like this. We're going to lay our color down. And what I love so much about this matte too, is it sticks your ink pad down into place so it's not gonna move while you blend, which is amazing. So nothing is gonna move on your surface as you're doing your ink blending. All right, let's go in with our Simon Hurley medium ink blending brushes. These are great to blend our color down onto the surface. So we're gonna go in here with a little bit of Tropical Tango, ink that up, and start blending it down. Now the cardstock matters, the ink matters, but also the ink blending brush really matters as well. Now usually the ink blending brushes are have a handle off to the side, so they're really hard to control, like how much color you're getting down and how much pressure you can apply, because you're not able to hold it from the top like this. So my goal was to make a blending brush that was more comfortable and ergonomic like this, so it's a custom handle that me and my brother actually designed. And then we wanted to make it so the handle was at the top so that you can really control how much pressure you apply down. So let me show you. So when I go with my next color, I'm going to use High Tide to match this kind of teal color here. We can go in and we can go with a really light pressure to get a super soft color, just like that, like a really light color there. Or you can go in with much more pressure. And again, you have all the control in the world as you're doing this and really get a lot of ink. And I just recently re-inked this one, so it's very juicy. But you can see the difference is amazing with how much control you can get, and it really allows you to blend that color smooth and seamless, but have all the control in the world. And it's so comfortable too, because you're not like struggling to hold it from the side and the handle's bending. This really allows you to take your control back and get the most beautiful ink blends, which I love. For the next yellow color, let's go in with Slippery When Wet. You could also go in with Shooting Star, which is a brighter yellow, but I like Slippery When Wet. It's more of a mustard tone. I'm gonna go in with my yellow ink blending brush. So I keep one for each color family. So like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. And then you can clean off the brush kind of in between colors. So if I'm going from a dark yellow into a lighter yellow, you can always clean it off just rubbing it on a paper towel and then go into the next color. But I mean, look, I'm not tapping off the color onto the side before I move into the next color, and you get such a smooth and seamless blend. And what's awesome is when you blend this over top of each other, look, it creates like a nice green in between. Because these are translucent dye-based inks, when you blend the yellow over top of the teal blue color, it's gonna create a nice green in between. Amazing. Then let's go in with a little bit of orange. For this, I'm gonna use Check Engine. Awesome. So this is our custom design handle. It's very expensive. Someone asked if we can make the handle a little bit thicker. Super expensive to do it custom like this, but this is a pretty, I think it looks thinner on screen than it really is. It's pretty easy to grab, but what's awesome is you can always grab it from down here too, which is nice because then if you want something thicker to grab, that's really helpful. But I have heard from, and you can kind of put your fingers here then too. It's very comfortable. We tested it with a lot of different people's grips and just made sure it was as ergonomic as we can make it, because I know the handle from off to the side was so uncomfortable even for me, and I don't have wrist issues. So we wanted to make sure that we tested with a ton of people to make sure that it was very, very comfortable to hold. So that was our main goal when creating this blending brush, and I really hope we achieved that for all of you. And you know, most of the reviews are coming in saying that it is so comfortable. And I do a lot of blending, and for me, my hand doesn't get tired with it. It really is amazing. All right. And if you want, maybe just try one of them and see if it works for you, and then you can always get like, you know, 8 for one for each color family. But test it first to see if it works. All right, next we're gonna go in with the red blending brush. Go in with a little bit of Bee Sting, and again, overlap that with the Check Engine orange to get a nice color blend in between. All right, I mean, these colors are just gorgeous and so bright and vibrant. They're gonna look beautiful with the butterflies. I'm obsessed. And honestly, these Stellar ink pads too. If you guys haven't tried the Stellar ink pads yet, but you are a fan of the Simon Hurley ink formula, maybe you have the older ink pads, try these new ones. They are game changing. My mind is just blown with how much ink comes out of these, and the color is so smooth. You wouldn't think that, you know, keeping the formula exactly the same, but just changing the ink pad gives you such a different result, but it really does. It's insane how different it is. All right, then at the bottom here, let's go in with a little bit of Stupid Cupid and blend this out. What a beautiful blend. And that just blends right into the red. So gorgeous. And again, like, look how easy this is. I'm just giving a lot of pressure right down here. I mean, not a lot of pressure, but relatively, it's more pressure than before. And it just gives you such a seamless, so much color at once because we have all the control. Again, handle being at the top gives you that control when you're blending. Okay. I know stellar inks are just, they're stellar, right? Okay, so now that we're done with this, let's lift this off the surface. And I mean, that blend is amazing. And now once this dries too, these inks have a little bit more of a smoothing agent, so it's really gonna kind of smooth out between colors and blend it. That's like earlier when you saw that the color lightened, they kind of smooth just a little bit over top to give you that really great color. Okay, now let me set this off to the side, back into my color cube, and to clean off this mat, I just go in with a little bit of water, and then we can wipe this off really easily. It cleans off really nicely. I find that most stellar inks don't stain, but if you leave them for a little bit longer to dry on here, they could stain a little bit. But they clean off pretty easily with water, and then we'll put this right back into this bag, and that way it doesn't get any dust on it. And again, this is the bags you get along with your kits, so it's a really great way to store that. All right, let's go in now with our stencil. So this one is called Butterflies, and we are gonna use a little bit of mint tape to hold this down over the background and do a little bit of, you guessed it, paste over top of it. So we'll go in with a little bit of mint tape, and I'm just going to tape down this background by putting a little bit of tape down on the opposite side. We'll place this down over top of the surface. Then we will line this up with the background, and it covers the whole card front. And then we'll go in with our mint tape, and we are going to hold that down right in place with the tape really easily. I love it. Okay. I know the color blocks are great, Beth Ann. I have them linked down below too if you want to check them out. They are amazing. They're made by a really nice creator, and she is incredibly brilliant. I've met her at a couple of trade shows, but just to put all those colors together, and there's 4 cubes, which I think means 2,000 color combinations, which is crazy. Or maybe there's 250 per box, so there's I think 1,000 by the end of it, but still crazy. So many color combinations for you to go through. Okay, then we'll go in with a little bit of crystal clear stellar paste. This is going to dry perfectly clear. It looks white inside of here, but that's because we wanted to keep it the same consistency as the other Simon Hurley pastes. And in order to do that, some of the clear pastes that start off clear can kind of be a little bit gelatinous. So we wanted it to be nice and smooth and creamy, so we have to put something in it that makes it white, but then once it dries, don't worry, it'll dry completely clear. So the goal here is to get a nice shiny design and not cover up any of the color. I put a lot of paste at the top here, and then I'm gonna go in with the paste tool set, so it comes in with the palette knife and the scraper tool, and I'm going to go in and scrape this right down to smooth out the paste on the background. And if there's still a lot of paste on here, but you're not noticing that it's like not getting anywhere, you can take your paste tool and tilt it down at more of a downward angle, and that's going to smooth that over your background design and disperse more of the paste. And then if you want to make sure that it's all nice and even, lift the tool up a little bit more, like this at an upward angle, and scrape some of that paste off, okay? Now, when you're working over top of inks like this, you don't want to work the paste in too much because the paste could react with the inks there because they're water-based. They react with water. So if you notice that your paste turned to color, don't put it back into the jar, put it off to the side and use that on a different project, okay? Then let's go in here and wipe all of our tools off, all right? So we'll go in and wipe this off, and then we'll lift off our stencil. Sweet, so you'll see this is looking kind of like a creamy paste right now, but you'll notice that once this dries completely, it is going to dry completely clear. So don't worry about it. Set this off to the side to let it dry, and it's going to go clear and look absolutely stunning. That is amazing. All right, and then we're gonna go in with this right away and just make sure our stencil is nice and cleaned off. So we'll go in with a little bit of water, wipe this right off. Super easy, and then you'll want to clean off your stencil just with a little bit of paper towel, and it comes nice and clean while that paste is still wet. All right, super simple to do, and with the magic of television, I've already created a background, and this is what it looks like when it's all dry. So it almost accentuates that ink a little bit, but you really can't see the butterflies until you tilt it in the light and you get all of that amazing, incredible shine. So don't worry when it looks a little bit frosty. It's going to go completely clear once you're done and give you this so amazing shine. Now, Crystal Clear and the rest of the stellar paste, the white and black, are all going to give you a really great gloss to them. It's a high gloss paste, so it's going to give you tons of gloss as you tilt it in the light. And this creates a nice resist. So you guessed it, we're gonna go in, and I can't help myself, with a little bit of Black Widow ink, and we are going to cover this background in the Black Widow. Now I have a blending brush from my line that is dedicated to this Black Widow ink, and this ink is amazing. If there's one ink from the Stellar Ink line that you should try out, it is Black Widow. It is crisp, jet black, and check this out. Just look at that incredible black color. So what we're gonna do is go in and blend this onto the surface with our blending brush. Again, it deposits so much ink because we can go in with as much pressure as we want and go right over top of the background. And now it's gonna look like a hot mess at first. Sometimes, you know, these techniques look like a hot mess because those butterflies look dark now. But don't worry, we're gonna fix it. Because it's that gloss, it's going to resist the ink completely. My friends always laugh at me. They're always like, you're always covering everything up with black ink, but this is one of my favorite techniques. And the Black Widow Stellar ink really makes these techniques come to life. It is one of the best inks that I found, and it is so jet black for these techniques. I know Scrapbook.com said he's a crafter, master of fussy cutting, and a magician. I mean, this is practically magic, this technique. All right, then we're going to wipe this off before we get to the other side. So I'm gonna go in and scrub this just with a clean towel. And look, it reveals those butterflies that are completely colored, and it still has that really great gloss to it. So it doesn't cover up any of those inky butterflies that we created, but it gives them a really great high contrast background that is absolutely gorgeous. I know this is really a trust the process technique, but if you do trust the process, it is beautiful by the end. All right, so we'll go in and apply ink all over, blend it over the rest of the background, and it gives you this gorgeous look with these really great, beautiful butterflies that are brightly and intensely colored. So incredible. And I've got this black ink pad linked down below. I know it's gonna be tempting once you see a technique like this. This is an ink pad that I think nobody regrets getting. It is incredible. I know, you guys are all talking. Amy just said, if I had that white shirt on, it would be a black sleeve by now. I know, it's many years of practice. I've been doing this since I was 12, so I'm allowed to craft in white clothing, but I wouldn't recommend doing that at home. All right, I'm gonna go in here and wipe off the rest of the background with my microfiber cloth. It's going to clean off our butterflies, and check that out. So cool. What a fun technique to give you such a high contrast background that is just so incredibly beautiful. I love it. All right, so to clean off our glass surface, this is one of the Glassboard Studios glass mats. It's magnetic too. I love this. If you want to shop it, there's a link down below too, and you can get, I think, 15% off with code Simon15 or 10% off with code Simon10, something like that. Check out the link down below, but these glass mats are amazing for working on, but look at that. All right, let's create a really great focal point. First, I'm gonna adhere this down to a card. I think I'm gonna trim it down, but I'm gonna use one of the Simon Hurley Stark White card bases. This is the top folding card base, so this is already pre-cut and scored in that Stark White sampler pack. And all you do is, actually, you wanna crease this crease that is going towards you. You're gonna fold that in. It's really weird because I used to get yelled at for that all the time. And I was just like, well, that doesn't make any sense, right? But it is the easier way to crease down a fold. So if you didn't know that, now you do. And then we'll crease it down with a bone folder. It doesn't seem like the logical way to do things, but it creases down really nice and easy, just like that. And then if we want to, we can give this a border. So I want to give it a border. Let's go in with our paper trimmer. I love this little guillotine. And we'll go in and just trim this down. Just right to the edge, like that. And this will just give it a nice white border all the way around the card, and make the background really stand out with some nice contrast. I like a little border like that. So then we can put this right onto our top folding card base, and it just gives it a nice white border all the way around the background. All right, we'll go in with a little bit of tape runner and adhere it down to our card. Cool. And the paste is kind of sticky. I think that you can use this paste for foiling too. I shouldn't talk before I know, but I'm pretty sure you can use it for foiling through like a laminator or a heat foiling machine like the Fuse from Gina K. So check out how beautiful that is. Now I just want to slap a sentiment on this, but let's do a little bit of a focal point with some butterflies too. So I'm going to go in with the butterfly dies from Lawson's kit, and let's use these little butterflies. So I'm going to use these guys and this little butterfly center. Is there another one? I think I'm missing it. I am. I'm missing the little butterfly center. I lost that die. So we're just going to go in maybe without it, or we'll try using this guy, and hopefully it works. Hopefully that'll work. And then for this, we're going to go in and create our own little butterflies. And to do this, we're going to use some sparkle overlays, okay? So we're going to create our own sparkly cardstock using these. Now these are from Brutus Monroe, and like I said, there is a deal going on right now, and it's linked down below. You have to use the link in order to get this deal. And if you put $20 in your cart at Brutus Monroe, you actually will get a sparkle overlay for free. And the sparkle overlay that you get is this really beautiful shattered look. Check that out. And so you'll know you did it right if you add $20 and this shattered one appears in your cart for free. That's how you know you got the gift. So it will appear in your cart. You have to see it before you check out, and that's how you know you did it all right. But use that link down below for Brutus Monroe and you will get this shattered. And we'll actually use this today. All right, so I'm gonna pull out one of the sheets of this shattered look. You get 2 sheets inside of each pack. And this is like a clear overlay sticker, and you'll see in here what it does, but it's amazing. And so for this, I'm gonna go in and create a butterfly that is just stark white cardstock. So we're just gonna pull out our stark white cardstock, and I'm going to trim down this panel so that it's going to fit on, we'll just do it a little bit less than our card. Okay, so we'll cut it down to 4. And then we'll go in and just all you need to do is go onto the corner and kind of peel it back a little bit. And then once it's peeled back, it creates this kind of sticky side. And all you're gonna do is just fold this down. So it's almost like we're gonna do like wallpapering. Okay, you don't wanna do the whole thing at one time. Wallpapering or like putting a screen protector on your phone. And then we'll go in, and because I did it smaller than the cardstock, I don't need to make sure it's perfectly aligned. And then once it's kind of aligned in the corner there, all you need to do is take this backer and just start peeling. Oops, I got a bubble in mine. I didn't do that well. Okay, well, you could peel it up, but I'm not going to. I only need a certain section of it. But usually it goes a lot smoother than that. I just did it quickly on the live stream today. And of course, it fails me when I'm live. But what you're gonna do to smooth it out, if you didn't get a big bubble in it like that, is just go in with your scraper tool from the Paste tool set and smooth this down. But it's okay, because my only goal was to die cut from it. So this is great. But look, we've created our own cardstock that has this like foiled effect. And what's cool is this is completely clear. So you can put ink underneath here, or you can put this on a colored cardstock, but I want it to be white because I want a ton of really great contrast going on here. So I think this is going to be beautiful, just like that. All right, let's go in now. I don't even know. I don't even really want the butterfly centers. I think I just want these 2 butterflies without the centers. So we're gonna cut these out using this cardstock. Just go in here, trim this down, and we got a ton more that we can use on another card for die cutting. All right, and then we will go in with our little die cutting machine. This is my Simon Hurley Scout. And I gotta be honest, guys, we are, I think, getting pretty low on stock of this, and this was a one-time order thing. So once this sells out, I think it's gonna be gone. So if you've wanted your little black platinum scout, definitely get it while you can. I think scrapper.com still has them in stock, and Spellbinders still has them in stock as well. But once this is done, I've been told it's not coming back, which I'm sad about. I'll probably use this for the rest of my life, but it's not coming back. So if you wanted the black machine, it is a great little die cutting machine. What's special about this little guy is that it's got metal rollers inside of there. So it's just as powerful as the larger platinum machine, but with this, it's got a much smaller footprint. I think it's 3.5 inches. So you can still put a lot of dies in it, but it's a lot easier to fit on your desk than a huge die cutting machine pulling it back and forth. So that's what I love about it. I pretty much keep mine right next to me at all times. And I also love that it has such a long platform too, so you can really cut a lot out at once. And all you do is just put your hand at top, hold it down, and it die cuts beautifully with all the same power as the larger machine. I know, Julie says she loves hers. Mona says she wants the Black Scout. I know, I was sad when I heard the news, but I do believe it is retiring. It was a one-time kind of order, and once that order runs out, they gotta order a ton more, and so I don't think it's coming back, unfortunately, but if it was up to me, it would be, because I love this little machine. Okay, so then let's go in, and by the way, not all Scouts are getting discontinued, just my black colored one. That is special edition. I wanna make sure that's known, because not all the Scouts are going away, just my special color edition. Oh, I love that, and look at this. That shadowed effect is so pretty. All right, then let's go in and do a sentiment from that same Leah Lawson kit. So there's a bunch of sentiments in here. Let's just do the sentiment high. And I love that they include the sentiment and the shadow die. The shadow dies are really important to make your sentiment stand out beautifully from the background. And for the high, I'm just gonna go in and cut it out of stark white cardstock and black cardstock. So we'll just go in here and cut this right out. I'll trim down a little piece of black and a little piece of my stark white cardstock that we can run through the die cutting machine. Sweet. So for this, I'm gonna do, I think I wanna do the black shadow to make it stand out, and then we'll do the white sentiment. Awesome. We'll run this through then to make sure that it die cuts out beautifully. Yay, Elizabeth says she's so happy she got the Black Scout too. I know, it is awesome. I love it, and it's so sleek and small. It fits everywhere. I actually brought this thing to Starbucks once when I was testing out dies. For Spellbinders, we test them all, and then we make our packaging. Like all the packaging you see, I actually glued together those samples. So I brought this to Starbucks, and I went crazy die cutting all of my pieces so I can make samples with them. So really a great little portable machine. Everyone was looking at me weird. Everyone was like, what is he doing? Because I'm sure nobody has seen die cutting usually. And I was just sitting there as everyone was on their computers doing the die cutting in the corner. All right, so let's go in here and we are gonna stick this down. Now to do this, I like to use a little tweezers to make this really easy for me. We'll pop out all the little pieces in the die, and then we'll go in with a little bit of liquid adhesive. So I'm gonna use some Barely Arts liquid glue, and I'm going to glue down this sentiment. All right, let me know in the comments too. I wanna know what kits, if you picked out kits for SBC Fest, if you're gonna go rogue with no kits, let me know. If you're gonna just craft along and kind of learn some techniques and use what you have in your stash, that's awesome too. I wanna hear how you guys plan to go throughout this event. Anyone take off of work? I heard some of you guys are taking off of work for it. I will be seated the whole day, probably watching SBC Fest. I'll have it on all day in the background as I'm working. All right. Then we'll pick this up in our tweezers and lay it down onto our background. Awesome. Okay, so that is a beautiful little sentiment. We can put it at the bottom here, but we can also like put it right in between, which I think is cool. And then I'm gonna make these little butterflies kind of flying around the sentiment, just like that. I think that's fun. Oh yay, lots of you guys. Mona is saying I got 4 kits. Jerry got them all. Someone got Laura's kit, yay. Oh, Julie says, I'm so glad I'm retired. I know, right? Now is a good time to be retired. You get to craft along all day then, which I think is so fun. And then for the butterflies, let's go in with a little bit of foam tape. We're gonna put it right here down the center, and that's gonna allow the wings to go up, which is amazing. Oh, I love that. So much fun. I love this. So here is a look at that finished card using Lawson's kit. And then I went in and did all of that amazing ink blending on the Stark White cardstock. Definitely check out that sampler pack if you want to try that cardstock and do some amazing blends like that. And then using the crystal clear stellar paste and going over top of it with the Black Widow ink pad to get that really great contrasted look. And then of course, finishing it off with those butterflies and using the Brutus Monroe shattered overlay gives so much sparkle and like creates your own patterned cardstock. And I love that it's just white that we used it on. So it really stands out and contrasts from that darker background, but it has that really cool shadowed effect to still make it stand out and look amazingly special. All right, I love that. Okay, next let's go in and we're gonna go into Lawson's kit again, but this time we're gonna pull out some watercolor cardstock. So this is the watercolor cardstock from the patterned collection. And I am obsessed with this. So look, it's got different colors. So like a lighter color on one side and then a darker color on the other. And all of these have this really great kind of watercolor pattern going all throughout it, which I think is absolutely incredible. And again, we're gonna create kind of a rainbowed pattern, but we're gonna create it with stripes. And this time, this is more for the people who are like, okay, well, I love that inking background, but maybe you don't wanna do all that inking. So this one's gonna be kind of for you guys. And we're gonna pull out a couple different colors of this. Ooh, should I do that yellow? That's pretty. I like that yellow. All right. And then we'll go through and let's grab that green too. That's so cool. I love these colors. They do a great job over at scrapbook.com putting these products together for you all. They are beautiful. And then let's do like this blue right here. That is gorgeous. Should we do a purple too, just for fun? That is too good. That's too good not to include. All right. That is good. I could flip through this all day and just be jaw dropped at it. I love the designs and I love how real the watercolor looks too. I think it's beautiful. So what's fun about this now is we can go in here and I'm gonna use my paper trimmer and I'm just gonna go in and trim out some strips. And so we will just go in and I can trim out a couple different sizes of the strips. And then we're gonna go in with our next piece. And on this one, again, really no rhyme or reason to the size of these strips. We will just do a couple from each. I'll do about 3 strips from each one. Then we'll do green. And again, no rhyme or reason to really how I'm cutting these down. Oh, which side should we use? Should we use this one? I like that side. And again, we could flip these too because, oh my gosh, wait, I didn't even think about that. We could flip them because they've got different colors on each side. Oh, I like that. Oh, we're getting even more ideas as we're going here. All right. That is awesome. So the goal here is gonna create like a paper pieced kind of background using all of our strips. And so to do this, I'm gonna go in with, again, my Simon Hurley Stark White cardstock. And for this, we're gonna take a tape runner. This is my tape runner from ThermoWeb. I love their tape runner. It puts out some really great adhesive. And I'm literally just gonna go through and put it all over the place, okay? You wanna add lots of tape runner down. If you have a double-sided adhesive sheet, this might be the time to pull that out as well. And this is fun now because we can go in and line these up. So we'll line it up with the edge there. And then it should line up with the edge of the card and we'll adhere it right down. And again, the fun part here is that we can go in now with all these strips, my little shaky hands here, with all of these strips and line them up right next to each other. And it's gonna create this like really cool ombre look of cardstock. And so we'll kind of go back and forth between the colors, between the light and dark. So that's really fun that each side has a different color on it. So the lighter pink or the darker pink, because we just used all of our pinks, but it looks completely different because the darker pink can kind of separate them. Then we'll go in with the orange. We'll do a dark orange here. Right there, butt that up against the last one. And then let's do the lighter orange right next to it. and it just lines up perfectly. So this is, again, a fun way to get this kind of cool striped background and not have to do a ton of work with, you know, coloring it all beforehand, because it's already done for you. Which one of these has yellow on it? Did I not cut the yellow? Oh no, the yellow is the green. Okay, red, orange, yellow. So we'll do yellow next. And we'll place the strip, and it's really easy to do against this cardstock. Should we mix it in with the green? Let's do that. Because I don't think there was 2 yellows in there. So we'll mix this in with the green. I love that. And then we'll do another yellow one. So it's kind of like fading into each other. I am loving this design. All right, and we'll step it up even more in a second. So just lay down all of your strips of cardstock that you want to use. And then we'll move into, let's do this kind of green color right here. From this side. And then we'll move into this like minty color on the other side. This pattern paper pack is so pretty. I should have picked out even more colors from it, really. Okay, then we'll move back into this green. So by flip-flopping it, you're getting different color stripes all the way down. And I mean, look at this. It's just such a fun pattern and design that you can get from this, from that one paper pack. Just that one paper pack, and you get all of these amazing intense colors in that kind of watercolor pattern. And you're still kind of seeing that watercolor pattern all throughout, because I love that it's kind of random and dispersed throughout the background there. All right, is that the same? No, that's different. Okay, we'll flip it. Just like that. Should we do some more wide strips? Let's go in here and cut out some wider strips, because I feel like we're missing that. So then we'll go in with a wider one of that blue, and then we'll do a darker one. Is that the same blue? Yeah. And we just want to fill out the background with these beautiful colors. And I mean, it's quick and easy to do. It's a little bit time, it's like almost like a puzzle, but this is the least time consuming puzzle ever, because there's not much brain work that goes into it. You just go in and create all these strips, and you can create your own kind of patterned cardstock just this way, really simply, which is gorgeous. All right, I love that. We'll leave it just like that, because that finishes off the design. There's just a little strip left, which is totally okay. We'll set off the rest of our pieces to the side, and then let's go in here and trim that rest of the piece off. So stunning. How cool is this, right? Just a really beautiful design. Amazing. Okay, now to finish this off, I want to step it up. Okay, so I'm gonna go back in with the overlays, and again, these you're getting a deal on, so check out the description box, because you could spend $20 and get one of these packs, the Shattered pack, for free in your cart. I think I'm gonna use this sparkle one, because the sparkle is going to stay clear, but give us this really cool sparkly effect across the surface of the background. Now to do this, I'm gonna go in and trim the sparkle sheet down, and we'll trim it down to the size of the cardstock, which is A2. And this is going to, again, be that nice clear look, but it's gonna give it a little bit more of a pattern and kind of a sparkle all throughout. So we'll just go in and fold it back. Hopefully this time I can demonstrate that it's easier than I showed it earlier to line this up. Then we'll go in with that overlay, line it up in the corner there. And there we go. Once it's lined up with the corner, it's much easier to line up all around. All you do is just peel it off. This time we're going slower, and you could even, like, what you could do to make this easier is literally grab your tool as you're doing this, and this is gonna really avoid any creasing then, and just literally do it like a wallpaper. I mean, this tool from the Paste tool set is so useful, because it really helps to smooth out things too. So like this is gonna make it nice and flat across the surface and lined up beautifully with those cardstocks. Okay, how fun is that, right? Because now you get all the same colors. You can still see some of that watercolor kind of texture and variation throughout it. You're not missing any of that. And then look, oh my goodness. It's like foiling, but without the heat. So I love that because it's adhesive back, so you could really put this on anything and you're getting that amazing intense shine, but you can still see all the amazing colors underneath it. So again, don't forget, if you use that link down below to Brutus Monroe, you spend $20 and then it's gonna automatically add the shattered sparkle overlay to your cart, but you have to use that link down below. So if you see it appear in your cart, that's how you know you got it, all right? So really amazing. All right, let's go in now and just trim this down. So I'm going to trim it off the right side here. We'll trim off this edge too because there's a little bit of white showing there, and just give a little bit of a border to our card. So we'll give about 1/4 of an inch border. All right. Awesome. So again, these overlays aren't included in the kit or anything. They're not in any kits. I'm kind of just adding products in as we go because the fun part about this is you're going to get your SBC Fest kits and of course you use them throughout the day tomorrow. But then you can take these and mix them in with all the supplies you already have. And that's kind of the goal of what I'm showing you here is like you can mix them in with your inks and with your pastes and with, you know, fun sparkly overlays like this and get even more from all of the amazing kits and mix them in with your supplies, which is so fun. So here is that beautiful pattern using the watercolor cardstock. Now let's go in and make a focal point using the butterflies. And to do the focal point for the butterflies, we are going to go in with some black cardstock. All right, so just some regular black cardstock, and we are going to go in with some of the solar sprays. Now I feel like solar sprays are kind of a misunderstood product, so I wanted to walk you through what the solar sprays could be used for right now. Now I've showed them in live streams in the past, and on white cardstock, the solar sprays are really meant to kind of blend in with the cardstock, just like that overlay. When you look at it straight on, they're meant to kind of blend in. And then when you tilt these in the light, you sort of see a little bit of sparkle and shine. But what I don't often show is that solar spray is absolutely stunning on colored cardstocks, okay? So if you want to use it on like a color wheel cardstock from Spellbinders, you'll see straight on, you can barely see it, you can see a little bit of texture from it. And this is just a pink color wheel cardstock. And then when you tilt it in the light, look at that golden shine that you get. All right, then look at all of these. These are just on black cardstock, and the color really comes to life on the black cardstock. Okay, but the goal with the solar sprays is to get all that amazing color and shine, but when you look at it straight on, you don't really see much of the color, but then also look at that amazing texture too. You could really only achieve that with a spray rather than a paste or an ink, which is much smoother. So that's why we did these as a spray, and they're a really great topper for a lot of projects, but if you use them on colored cardstock, they're going to take over and give you an amazing look that really stands out on your card, okay? So let's go in here and create some for a butterfly. Now, before you use solar spray, there is this white kind of sludge at the bottom of it. That's all the mica. So don't spray them until you shake up your solar spray. So I call these the shake weights for crafting. You're gonna wanna go in here and shake them. There's a metal mixing ball in both of these, or sorry, in every single bottle. So just give it a nice shake, nice workout. And you're gonna wanna shake them all up until you see there's no white mica at the bottom, okay? So you don't want any white mica at the bottom, and then you're ready to spray these. Now for the butterfly that I'm doing today, I want the color to be a little bit different and more concentrated, less galaxy-like. So I'm gonna do Pity Party, which is this nice pink color, and kind of concentrate that more in the center, like this. So just right down in the center, like that. And then for the outside of the wings, I want it to look almost like a monarch. So I'm gonna do a little bit of Twin Flame. And we're going to spray that at either side, just like that. So you can still control the sprays more than you think you can. And then what's really awesome about these is, look, we got that controlled spray, but now it's kind of marbling and modeling. And you can also like tap these a little bit. If you want the color to kind of run into each other and blend, just tap it and you get kind of a cool effect that blends together a little bit more. All right, let's go in now and dry this with our heat tool. And you can see, like, as you dry it, the mica is kind of moving and twinkling on the surface. They are gorgeous. Yes. June says, I haven't used mine in a while. I need to pull them out again. It really is an amazing product that I think sometimes people forget about or overlook, but you definitely want to pull them out. And my goal this year has just been to do as much education as possible so that you guys remember, you know, what you have really, and you can always pull them out. Because I feel like sometimes as crafters, we collect, but we put things away in drawers, and if I can't see it, I know I'm not gonna pull it out. So I always wanna remind you guys of the amazing, cool products you might have already in your drawer. Look at that. I mean, that's incredible. That is so pretty. And then let's do some for the top. And for the top layer, I'm gonna do Neptune, which is oh my gosh, that is gorgeous. Oh, beautiful. And then let's do a little bit of Pity Party, which is gonna mix really well with it too. And again, we'll do that at the sides of that. So again, you can control the spray. Don't feel like a spray is too uncontrollable. They're not super messy if you use them right. You can get super messy with them, but you can also keep them pretty contained on the surface. And you can see, this is much cleaner than you'd think you could get with a spray, okay? Let's maybe add a little bit more. There we go. Oh, and you can see that really blended the pink and the blue together. That is gorgeous. Now go in with your heat tool. Yay, Karen says she's been wondering how to use them. I am glad I was able to share this. And oh my goodness, look at Neptune. Look at Neptune. It is so stunning. I mean, these are showstoppers. They really are. Yay, Obsessed and Addicted says, mine are not in drawers. They are readily available. That is what I like to hear. Mine are always on my desk too. They're ready to go, ready to use and put on a project. All right. Now, once that's all dry, check that out. I mean, it's just the spray pattern and the blends that you're able to get are unreal. Like I said, it's hard to get something like this with an ink that it looks like it was sprayed out and kind of graffitied on there, which is so cool and unique to a spray, which I think is really fun. All right, let's go in and do some die cutting now. So to die cut these out, I'm going in with my Platinum 6. I just got a new Platinum 6, so my plates look spick and span. I love when I get new plates and a new machine, and mine was necessary. I needed to upgrade. So then we'll go in here and do a little bit of die cutting. So I'm gonna use this same heirloom butterfly set, but for this, I'm gonna use the big butterfly, and I believe this is a layer. So I'm gonna go in and use it as such. We'll use this as a top layer for it. And then we'll use the body of the butterfly as well. All right, and then we'll also go in and do the sentiment after this. But for this, we're gonna go in and you can choose the spot where you wanna layer this. So I think that's really fun. I'm gonna go right in and again, center this on the butterfly so there's pink right in the center. But you might not be able to see the pink, but we're gonna bring the pink back in with this kind of blue and pink area and lay that right over top. And then we'll do the body of the butterfly separately. All right, we'll go in here and die cut this out. I know it's not gonna be pristine for long, but I do love getting a new set of plates for my machine. It is nice while it lasts. All right. And I'm really obsessed with like the look of contrast. So of course here we used the black cardstock, and that's gonna give us such a great contrasted look against all of those pastel colors. All right, so we've die cut those pieces out. Oh, and this is just gorgeous. You could use these as masks now. That would be really pretty with the spray out of the butterfly. Oh my gosh, like that's amazing for a background. And then look, these are so pretty. So even if you were scared of the background before, sometimes I find like all the messy edges look scary to people. But look at that, once it's dry and it's just cut out of an actual die cut, you can really see how it's so usable and how it is just perfect for card making. So we will pop out these little areas of the butterfly. There's little edges that have a little bit of detail in there, so we'll just pop that out with our finger. And then do you know where these scraps are gonna go, guys? Right onto the floor, of course. Of course, because why would you put that in the garbage can, right? And then later I'll be like walking around my craft room being like, why is everything so messy? It's because I just put every piece of cardstock on the floor once I'm done with it. All right, I know, right? Even using that little butterfly piece, you could cut that out, put a sentiment on it, and that mask, the excess would be just the perfect piece for a background. All right, now I'm thinking like, is this supposed to go like this? I think it is. It lines up perfectly like that. So if you wanna do that, you totally can. It covers up a lot of the color underneath, but I still like it, so I think I'm gonna do that. But you could use them separately too if you want to make them kind of fluttering together like this, but we are gonna indeed cover it up just like that. Cool. All right, now let's do the sentiment. So for the sentiment, I'm gonna use the one that says thanks. So we will just go in here and pull that right out. And again, we will go in with our black cardstock and our white piece of cardstock and die cut them out. And what should I do? I think I'm gonna do the shadow out of white and the actual sentiment out of black, and then we'll actually cut out the center body of the butterfly as well. So we'll go in here, oops. Now, when you're using sprays, I don't think this section was completely dry yet. And it got a little bit of mica on here. So just make sure everything's cleaned off your plates. If you're using something kind of messier like that, you don't want that to get on your clean die cuts here. All right, and then let's go in. Oh no, that one moved. All right, and die cut these guys out. Cool, okay. So let's go in here, and that cuts out the center of the butterfly. And then that cuts out the sentiments. Perfect. That is crisp too. This, I swear. I use my plates until I shouldn't be anymore, and I'm not a good example of that because now everything's cutting beautifully. And sometimes you know how you get little markings on your projects because you've used your plates too much. So it's always good to replace those at a certain time, and I need to remember to do that because I always forget, and then I just use my plates until I definitely shouldn't anymore. All right, we'll go in and poke this out really easily, and look at that, thanks. I like the font that they chose for that. It's very dainty and kind of handwritten, which I think is beautiful. And then we'll go in and pop these guys out, these centerpieces of the shadow. And I always love when dies include shadows too, because I always make busy backgrounds that are super inky. You guys know me. And so having something that helps to make it stand out across the background is always really helpful. All right, we will go in and we are going to take our sentiment and use our liquid glue and just add some all over the back to adhere it down super easily. And whenever I'm adhering a sentiment like this, I love liquid glue because you can move it for a second or two after. And so I just kind of lay it down random. It doesn't need to be perfect. And then I pick it up and I just move it around with my fingers until it looks completely centered. So like, look, I can kind of futz with it a little bit. The liquid glue doesn't dry right away. So it gives me a second or two to just be able to move things around and make sure that the die cut is nice and perfect on that shadow layer. So I do love that about liquid glue. It just gives you that time to make sure that it's perfect. Okay. Oh, Obsessed and Addicted says my cut plate is nearly opaque. I know, mine was too. It's about time to replace it then. All right, and then let's go in with the body, put that right down. And then for this, should we pop it up like a little bit? Or let's make the wings like kind of pop up. So let's put some liquid glue right in the center here. And that is just going to adhere it right down. So I love that it is a layer that you can use, like it fits perfectly on that next butterfly. But I also love that you could use these separately if you want to make two separate butterflies. But you can't really see under the wings anyway, so we'll just leave them just like this, and they can kind of pop up if they want to. Then let's go in and adhere down our background. So this is the background that we did. And look, I mean, that is so beautiful on top of that. It just looks gorgeous. And let's go in with another top folding card base. Again, make sure that mountain fold is towards you and then crease it down. It's already pre-cut and scored for you. All you need to do is crease it down, so it saves you a lot of time when you're crafting then, because you don't have to take the time to go do it. I put the lid on my liquid glue, because otherwise that's going to dry out. And then we'll adhere everything together, nice and easily. So add a little bit of glue down, adhere that right down onto the background. just like that. This almost reminds me of like, you know, that TV screen where all like the emergency streaks are going through it. That's what it reminds me of, that really bright colors, but I love that sparkle that's going throughout it. And then I think I'm gonna do this straight on, just like that. And then let's do the thanks right below it. Or should we do the thanks across it again? I did that before. I do like that, but I think that it almost takes away from the sparkle. Let's do it at a little bit of an angle like that, and then let's put the thanks right down. So for this thanks, I'm just gonna use a little bit of tape runner throughout really easily. I just think it's gonna work better with tape runner over the overlay, because sometimes liquid glue on something shiny like that doesn't really stick. So we will stick that right down. Perfect. I love that. And then let's go in and let's put a little bit of foam tape on the back of this guy. And we would adhere it right down. Let's cut this guy in half. Just like that. Amazing. And let's put the butterfly on. And I'm gonna do it at a little bit of an angle like this. Just like that. Cool, I love that. How gorgeous. So beautiful. So this one has all that amazing watercolor cardstock that's already printed for you on there with some really great colors that we've cut into strips and created our own really beautiful colored background. Then I used one of the Brutus Monroe overlays, which again, if you spend $20 on the Brutus Monroe link down below, it will automatically add the shattered overlay to your cart so you can get this really amazing sparkle onto your background. Then I finished it off using some solar sprays and using the heirloom butterfly die set to create this gorgeous looking patinaed butterfly. You guys need to try those amazing solar sprays. You're gonna have so much fun with them on black cardstock, on white cardstock, they're more subtle. It is absolutely stunning. And again, it's a great time to go shopping and use the code SBCFest at scrapbook.com for an extra 10% off anything. So any of the supplies that I'm using in today's video or anything that you've wanted to stock up on, it's a good time to do so. All right, now let's go in and do a couple more cards. We'll see how many we get done in tonight's live stream. So for this next one, I'm gonna actually go in with Gina K's kit, and here we're gonna start off with this stencil. This one is called Elegant Ovals, and we're gonna create a really fun inked background using the stencils. Stencils always draw me in, I love them, and this design is just so geometric and beautiful. I could see this one being a timeless one in my collection that you just keep reaching for over and over because the pattern is so gorgeous. So let me show you another way that you might not think to use your stencils, and this is embossing them through your die cutting machine. So to do this through the Platinum 6 die cutting machine, let me show you just how simple it is. All you're going to do is pull out your 2 cutting plates. So pull out your cutting plates. You're going to want platform A base and platform B on top of it for your sandwich. Then you're going to go in with your other plates. So there is this rubber looking plate inside of your machine. This one is called E. You're going to place that E plate right down onto the surface, just like this. And then you're gonna go in with your stark white cardstock. Now, before we go in with our cardstock, I'm going to take this cardstock and just spritz it, once on each side. You don't need to make this cardstock soaking wet. You just wanna spritz it a little bit to get the cardstock ready to mold to your design just a little bit easier. This will help you avoid any cracking of the cardstock. Then we're gonna go in and actually we're gonna straighten this back out because the stencil is quite large since this is a 6x6 stencil, and we are going to place this right on top of our cardstock just like that. Now this squishy mat below it helps it kind of squish into the mat and do the 3D embossing. So that's what's going to help create the embossed effect. Then you're going to take the D adapter plate. This is the hard gray plate that comes along in your set. And you're going to place this right on top of your whole sandwich to finish it off. Then we'll go in and run this right through our die cutting machine. And this is going to emboss your stencil design. So if you didn't know you can emboss with stencils, this is an amazing way to do that and get even more use out of your stencils. So let's lift this up and check that out. Hopefully you guys can see it on the surface of the camera here. It's not gonna do like a 3D embossed look where it's like so dimensional, but it does give you quite a bit of texture throughout the background, and it is really gorgeous. So you can use either side. Both sides are a really stunning pattern, but I think I'm gonna stick with this side here today. I think that is absolutely gorgeous, okay? So that is a way to emboss your stencil and get even more use out of it. So fun. I love that technique, and it's one that I always keep coming back to just because it's a totally different way to use your stencils that you might not think of. All right. Now next, let's go in and do some ink blending using the same stencil. To do this, I'm gonna go in and I'm going to bring out my Altenew sticky mat, and I'm going to place it right down onto my surface. I honestly cannot live without this thing. I love it so much because that stickiness allows me to tack down my cardstock and stencils at the same time, and ink pads. So it really is a 3-for-1. All right, before we go in and do our ink blending, I wanna make sure this cardstock is nice and dry. Because we just sprayed it down just a little bit, you do wanna make sure that it's gonna take the ink well and not have any reaction to it. So you want it to be nice and dry. All right. So we'll go in here and we will place this right down onto our sticky mat now. I'm gonna place it down, and then we'll grab our stencil. Now what's fun about this is you can actually go in and go right over top of your design, which is what I'm gonna do today. But I also just thought about this, and you could also shift this, and like how fun would that be? Like look, now you're getting kind of like an Argyle look because it's shifted. We might have to do that today. All right, we're gonna try that. So we're going rogue because I was gonna do something completely different, and now I'm like, I just need to shift this. I need to see what it's gonna look like. All right, so we'll go in. We're gonna start off on top of the design. So exactly where we had it before, that's how we're gonna start this design out, okay? Lined up on the embossed background. Then we're gonna go in with High Tide, which is this gorgeous light teal color, and we'll go in with our medium ink blending brush, and we're just going to ink blend this background. Now, what I love so much about this brush, being this larger medium size, is you are just able to cover a full background so quickly and easily. It's something that I'm always so impressed by with this, but that was one of my goals too by creating this medium size, is I think it's 1.5 inches diameter. It is just amazing for quickly covering your background, getting all that control, and being able to do it nice and fast. Because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I'm a little bit of a lazy crafter, and I want things done quickly. So that's what I love about it. All right, then let's go in. Should I tell you what I was originally gonna do just to give you guys even more ideas? What I was originally gonna do is go in with mint tape. And what you could do too is another way to get more use out of the stencil would be masking off the design. And then you could go like in between. I might even show that next. You know what, I'm going to, okay? So we'll go in and wipe this off. No, but that color isn't, oh, that color is Minty Fresh, but the color is called High Tide. We did have a Minty Fresh ink, but we ended up retiring that one, if that's the color you're talking about. But High Tide is like a gorgeous light teal color, which is beautiful. All right, then we're gonna take this stencil, and now we're gonna go in exactly where we had it before, and we're gonna shift it a little bit to the left until it centers, just like this, in between the designs. And this is almost gonna create like a beautiful, elegant looking Argyle design. I'm obsessed. It's gonna look gorgeous, I think, when we stencil this out. So, then we'll go in with a little bit of Clear Skies, and this color combination is amazing. I love it. I love it. I know, we do have all night to show all the tips, right? It's the pre-show party. I mean, we're allowed to stay up late before SBC Fest, right? It's like waiting for Santa to come on Christmas. It's like we just can't sleep all night. That's how it's gonna be for me. All right, so let's go in here. With this one, the Clear Skies color, I'm going a little bit lighter just so that you can still really see all of the color that's underneath, because I want you to be able to still fully see High Tide. So we'll go in with a little bit of a lighter touch, a little bit of a lighter hand all the way across. And I mean, this is looking stunning. All right, it might even create kind of an optical illusion look. I think it'll be really fun. But think to do this with all of your stencils. Like even shifting the butterflies could have been cool to create like a layered look where some of the butterflies are more in the background and some are more in the foreground. it is really cool that you can shift your stencils and get different looks with them. All right, so we'll go in and wipe this off, and then watch this when we lift it off. Oh, check that out. I'm obsessed. I really am. It gives you this kind of cool argyle look. And I love it too because now it kind of covers up the texture, but you still have all that amazing texture in it. So when you run your hand over it, there's like texture across the whole surface, which I think is so, so cool. All right, should we show the next inked effect? To do this, I'm gonna just make sure the stencil is nice and clean. It's SBC Fest Eve. So, I mean, everyone's got to get all their snacks ready for tomorrow. I want to know, what snacks are you guys going to be eating during SBC Fest? That is one thing that I need to know. I think I'm going to have some chocolates on hand, maybe some M&Ms, maybe some, I found this new snack. It's called Drizzlicious. I need to know if you guys have had it. It's like little tiny rice cakes that are bite-sized, and they have like chocolate on it. One has strawberries. Best flavor I've ever had. Okay, I will be buying that just for tomorrow, and maybe like a Red Bull or something, and that'll keep me throughout the whole day. I need to know what you guys are going to be eating though. I know Cody's always got his snack case stacked up over there, so he'll probably have his nice snack drawer with one of those SBC organizers, organized with all of the goodies. All right, so we'll place down another piece of cardstock here, and we're going to go in this time with our stencil. Place it right down into our mat, and this time we're going to do some stencil masking to get even more color on the surface. But if you weren't a fan of like, if you were like your eyes are going wonky on this and you weren't a fan of this, this is another fun way to add several colors throughout one stencil when it's geometric like this. So what we can do now is go in, and we're going to go in with our mint tape, and we are going to tape off the sections. Okay, you guys know what Drizzlicious are. Yeah, they are so good. I'm telling you. And I eat the whole bag sometimes. It just happens. All right, so this is kind of fun because then we can go in with our colors, and we are going to, I'm gonna bring in similar colors. So we'll go in with a little bit of High Tide first and just blend across the surface. And now what's fun here is you can take that mint tape, and now we can tape above to mask off that area. And for this one, let's do Tropical Tango next. Tropical Tango is like the older sister to High Tide. Oh, guys, I didn't mask it off. Someone was supposed to yell at me, okay? So for this, I'm gonna take this. Thankfully, I didn't go too far down. I'm gonna take this and mask it off here. Just like that. And so this is going to now blend right in between and give us nice stripes of color. So if your stencil is just one layer but you want it to be multicolored, don't be afraid to use your mint tape and go in creatively on your background and create your own colors. So here we can do, again, strips of color. Now, sometimes the mint tape won't stick. It's not because of the mint tape's fault. It's because wherever there is ink, no adhesive really wants to stick to any ink. So you just have to kind of hold it down and assist it in some areas. But the reason is because that ink is on the stencil already. So look, now we've got that High Tide in there. That is looking good. We'll go in and mask off the next section. Oh, you guys are saying all your snacks. Chocolate, cheese, and crackers. Now that sounds good. Pretzels and M&Ms sounds just so delicious. I'm gonna need to do that too. I'll make myself like my own little Chex Mix throughout the day, I think. Oh, someone said Chex Mix, yep. You know, I might have to go to Taco Bell midday and get a little Taco Bell too for the snack. All right, let's go in with a little bit of Clear Skies. Blend that out. Oh no, come on, stay down. So it really is that ink that wants to lift that up. But if you blend not in a circular motion and you blend kind of in this sideways motion, it kind of helps to keep the tape down on top of that ink. Oh, and look how cool that is. And now you just get strips of color across the surface, and it's following the design. So it's following the same pattern as that design, but it gives you stripes of color. And then we'll repeat. So should we repeat the same colors now? So then we'll go back in with a little bit of High Tide. just like this. And I like that the mint tape is kind of reusable. It stays pretty sticky so that you're able to keep using it across the whole surface. All right. Then we will go, oh, now that is gorgeous. All right, we'll go down here. Going with a little tropical tango. And we're just gonna repeat the colors. So that way it creates a little bit of continuity. Of course, you could do like a whole rainbow blend if you want to too. Oh, Cody says, have you had the chips and nacho supreme dip from Taco Bell yet? I haven't. Guys, I've been on a Taco Bell hiatus lately, but I have gone one time recently. I haven't gone for months because you guys know that I'm a Taco Bell addict, okay? But I went back recently and I tried their like chocolate empanada, I think it is. No, that was good. It was like a chocolate empanada and a caramel one. That was delicious. I need to go try their taco supreme dip. That sounds good though. I think I'd be into that. All right. That might be what I have to eat during SBC Fest tomorrow. All right, then we'll go in with a little bit of clear skies and finish off our blending. Beautiful. All right, that looks great. I love it. So stunning. And it's just a fun way to use the stencil in creative ways. So now we've got two different ways that we've used this stencil. And I think if you get Gina's kit, this stencil is amazing. I think it's gonna be one of your go-tos that you keep in your stash because it's just so geometric that it's such a great design to keep coming back to for different cards. Oh, look at that. So let's take a peek. Here is one with those stripes. And then here is that more optical illusion background that almost looks like a really fun argyle. And I love that you have, a lot of different options when it comes to stenciling with these designs. I think I'm gonna go for this one today. But again, really great that we were able to do two different options in the live. I love that I got distracted and I wanted to just shift the stencil because I actually love this one. It turned out really great. All right, let's go in and wipe this off. And then we will go in and place our mat back into the bag. I'm telling you guys, it's a tight fit for this bag, but it works really well. It's like almost like they made this bag for the mat, and it just keeps it super clean and dust-free. So it keeps it nice and sticky. I've had mine, this one's a new one actually, but I had my other one for like a year and a half, and it still stays nice and sticky, so I love that. All right, let's go in with just an Adkins kit to finish this off, because I want to use this balloon set, and let's see, I want to do like a big balloon. Let's see, that one kind of works, but can we do this even? Oh yeah, that's the one we want to use. We want to use this large balloon, and then let's go in with this large shadow, which we can cut out from the balloon, and then let's do this balloon string right here. We'll do that in white. Okay, cool. I love that. Now to do this balloon, we've got some more stuff from Brutus Monroe. So hopefully you didn't place your Brutus Monroe order yet because he's got some really cool cardstock. These are chromatic reserve cardstocks. I mean, look at that one. How fun is that? That's Geo Squares hollow stock. It's so cool. And what's funny about this is it's actually a flat cardstock, so it's perfect for die cutting, but it looks like it's raised. It's like a crazy optical illusion. I love that one. But because we got a lot of geometrics going on already, I want to just keep it simple with a sparkle that really is going to stand out from this, but not add more geometrics to it. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to do some die cutting from this really great sparkly cardstock. And this, you can like feel all of the texture from the sparkles in this one. It's really great. So again, if you spend $20 using my link below at Brutus Monroe, you can get that extra shattered sparkle overlay for free. And it'll just appear in your cart if you use my link. It is important to use that link though in order to get it. So you'll know that you did it right if it appears in your cart, okay? So for this, we're gonna do that string, and then we'll cut this balloon right out, and we will line up that little that little highlight in the balloon. Cool. All right, let's go in here, lay this down, and we will go in and cut it right out. All right, I don't want it to move around, so I'm holding down my plate because I didn't tape anything in place. All right, and then we will cut it right out. I know, okay, lots of you guys are saying you love the optical illusion one. Me too. I'm glad I chose the right one. I didn't see your guys' comments until now, but I'm glad I chose the right one. All right. And that cut out like a dream. I'm telling you, it looks like it wouldn't die cut really well because it's pretty thick with all that glitter, but it die cuts beautifully. Now, of course, you don't want to do super intricate pieces with it, but something large like that balloon is going to do a great job in there. All right. So that is awesome. And then let's go in and stamp a sentiment. And for the sentiment for this birthday card, I want to do Gina K. So I'm like mixing together the kits. I think it's fun to do that. But Gina K has got some great sentiments in here. And I want to do birthday wishes from her set. Nice and elegant. And then it also has a matching die that's going to cut out all the words too, which is great. So we will go in and go in with the birthday wishes stamp. Okay, Jenna says she's making a Taco Bell run now too. I see we're all going to Taco Bell tomorrow, I think. I think that's the consensus. We're all having lunch in the middle of SBC Fest at Taco Bell tomorrow. All right, then let's go in and we're going to, what color should we do this in? Let's do it in like a, should we just do it in black? Let's do it in black because the Stellar Ink in Black Widow is just like so easy to stamp in. It's classic, it's easy. I was gonna do it in one of the Stellar Ink colors, but this is easy. So the black is so nice because you just do a couple light taps, you stamp it down, and you just get the most jet black sentiment like ever. How great is that? And look, you still get all the detail, you still get all the boldness. It's great at doing details and really solid stamping. Oh, do I have a coupon code for you to use at Taco Bell? No, unfortunately not. I wish. I wish Taco Bell gave me a little code I can share with you guys. All right. So then we'll go in and cut this out. And we're going to just run this right through our die cutting machine. And I'm going to use, let's see, which one is it? I think it's this. And we're just going to go in and line this right up. Oh, good, I guessed right. And then I'm going to tape down the sentiment with our mid tape and just line this up just like that. And then we'll run this right through our die cutting machine. Super simple, super easy. And again, this little Scout machine makes it nice and easy to run it right through. Great. Oh, that is gorgeous. This is gonna be a great card. I just love that background that's super busy and then finishing it off with this really fun balloon just kind of ties it all together nicely. Now for this, let's go in and trim this down. I think I wanna keep it, I wanna just trim down on either side so that it's got a little bit of a white border just on two sides. Like that. And then we'll go into the sampler pack, and we're gonna do one of the side folding card bases. And again, make sure that mountain fold is towards you, crease it down. It folds down, it's so easy. And then just go in and crease it. Love that. And then we'll go in, glue this down with a little bit of tape runner. Nice and easy. All right. And then we'll go in, place that right at the top. I line it up there, and then it should line up all the way down the card, like that. Okay. Then I want to trim off that little area at the bottom because there is a little white spot from the stencil that we didn't cover. All right, and this little trimmer is a godsend. It really is, because it's easy for just trimming off edges like that and making sure everything is nice and clean on your card. So then we're gonna go in and do a little bit of foam tape with this, and I'll kind of let this hang off the edge. I think that's fun. Or should I just go straight on? Maybe I'll just go straight like this. Yeah, let's just do that. We'll make it hang over like this edge, but not off the card, just like that. We'll go in with a little bit of foam tape. Just like that. And then we'll peel off the backing and adhere it right down to our card. I love this. That sparkle just works so well with this background because although it's busy, it doesn't really take away from the background because they're kind of different, you know, one being colorful and one being more metallic glitter. For some reason, it just works for me. And because they're both cool toned too, it works well. All right, cool. We're gonna trim that right off at the end. And then we'll place this right in the bottom corner, just like that. That is our finished card. Here is a closer look at it using Gina K's stencil from her kit. Again, Gina's kit is $68 down to $44. And once Gina's kit is gone, that is not coming back in stock. It is exclusive to SBC Fest. So she designed all these products exclusively for the party that is tomorrow. And I gotta say, usually during SBC Fest, the kits kind of sell out because a lot of people see them. So I thought it was fun to share with you guys with these the night before, just in case if you wanna grab something, now is the time to do so if you're feeling inspired, because I know they go pretty quick after SBC Fest starts. But how gorgeous that stenciling, and then going in with that Brutus Monroe Chromatic Reserve Platinum cardstock with a chunky glitter on it to finish it off. It goes so well with that large balloon from Justin Adkins kit. So we kind of mix the kits together, but I love these large balloons because they act as such a great focal point with a fun specialty cardstock that you can use with them. And you can use these with like inks and stuff or specialty glitter cardstocks, and they really stand out as the balloons on your card. So stunning, of course. Then this is the extra background that we made. So gorgeous, and we just used mint tape with Gina K Stencil, and you can kind of mask off different stripes of the background to get a really fun and bold geometric look. So really love this stencil by Gina that comes inside of this kit. Again, I think this is one that's gonna be in my stash for quite some time. Very inspiring because you can use it with florals, but you can also use it just with like birthday things like this. To me, the sky's really the limit with this, with how you can shift it, emboss with it, and create different designs with the background. I love it. And yes, these kits are already at a great value, but then you can also use the code SBCFest and get an extra 10% off of all of it using my link down below, which is awesome. Okay, then should we create one more card? I think we will. We'll do one more card for tonight. And to do this one, we are gonna go in with Justin Adkins kit, and we are gonna go in with this embossing folder and his wonderful die set. So this die set is called Cheers Banner, and then we will also go in with the Streamers 3D embossing folder to create this really fun design, okay? So for Streamers, we're going to go in here with a piece of our black cardstock, and whenever I do my 3D embossing folders, you always wanna go in with a little bit of water, and I'm just going to mist that right over top of both sides of the cardstock so that nothing cracks or warps. If you're struggling with your cardstock ripping or kind of cracking, try wetting it before you run it through your 3D embossing folder, and that will help you out a little bit to get a much cleaner result. So we can open up our Streamers embossing folder then and place this right inside. These are nice large embossing folders from scrapbook.com. They got some really great designs of them as well. Okay, so to do our embossing, we're gonna bring in our Platinum 6 die cutting machine, just like this. And with this, you're gonna pull out both of your cutting plates, and you're also going to remove the B platform top for a 3D embossing folder from scrapbook.com or Spellbinders. They have a very similar sandwich. You're gonna place your embossing folder right in, and then you're gonna go in with the D adapter plate, which is this hard gray plate. You're gonna place that right on top, and then you're going to run this right through your die cutting machine. Just like this, and that is going to emboss it beautifully, okay? I love this folder too. These streamers are so fun and beautiful, and check that out. once it's done, do you guys see that? It's hard to see on the black, but look, you get all that amazing texture, and it's incredible because it looks 3D. Like, look, that looks like it's kind of twirling around like a little streamer, and they're kind of all interlapping and overlapping the design. It is just such a fun 3D embossing folder that I'm in love with. So then we're gonna go in and we're gonna create a nice background that we can cut from. So to do this, I'm gonna go in with, let's do another sheet of black cardstock. Let me go in and grab one. Actually, let's just use this. We'll cut on the other side. So we're gonna go in with a sheet of black cardstock, and we're gonna go in and do our sprays on top. So again, we're gonna use some of the Simon Hurley solar sprays. Here, let's see what colors I'm gonna use. I have them linked down below. There is 12 colors right now, but right now I'm using Pity Party, Twin Flame, Neptune, Sublime, Royal Flush, and Deep End. And again, in between uses, you'll see the sludge is kind of settles at the bottom there. You're gonna wanna go in, and again, shake these up with that metal mixing ball inside. This is our second workout of the night. And shake them up really nicely to make sure that all of the mica is nice and mixed throughout these sprays. All right, it should look like that. It's pretty easy to make sure these are nice and mixed up. All right, then we can go in with our sprays. I'm gonna start off with a little bit of Pity Party and just spray it down across the surface, kind of randomly throughout the background. Then I'll mix in a little bit of Twin Flame, which is this gorgeous orange color. We're gonna spray that down. And we'll just mix these colors together on the surface really nicely. Then we'll go in with a little bit of Neptune. I mean, Neptune is one of my faves. And I wouldn't worry too much about creating mud. I don't know, I'm not being super careful. Usually orange and blue will make mud, but it's like, Sometimes with these micas, they don't create as much of mud as like an ink would. Then let's go in with Sublime, which is this really great, like yellowy lime color. Ugh, that's beautiful. And we'll just spray this throughout. And then last but not least, let's do a little bit of Deep End as well. And just mix that blue in all throughout. And look, if you go in and you just do this like slightly less, this little nozzle less, you'll get more of like splatters. Like, do you see that splattered more rather than actually like spraying fully? So you can get different effects with the nozzle depending on how you pull it. Okay, now let's go in here. It looks like a hot mess, right? We're gonna go in here and we are going to dry this with our heat tool. And you can let these air dry, but I just go in and dry it with my heat tool to make sure that it dries nice and quickly so we can keep moving on with our project. And sometimes I like to lift the project off my surface too. I find if you let the heat transfer through the project, it helps dry a little bit quicker rather than trapping the moisture underneath it. So fun, but as you can see, when these dry, like look at that. I mean, this is incredible. It really is. They are so cool. So if you don't have these solar sprays, definitely want to check them out. Using that coupon code at scrapbook.com, using the code SBC Fest will get you 10% off. So it's a really great, I mean, who wouldn't want these, right? On black, they are just so stunning. And it's gonna look so great against our background that we created that's 3D embossed. Ugh, that is so fun. Okay, so cool. And then before we do anything with our black background, let's go in while these sprays are still shaken up. And I wanna just do like a little bit of almost like a splatter. And so to do this, I'm just gonna go in with our spray. I'm gonna use Sublime. And again, I'm gonna just pull the trigger a little bit lighter, and look, we can just get this like really fine mist. Do you see that? It's not fully spraying. We're just doing a really light mist. And we'll go in with a little bit of Pity Party too, which is this light pink color. And we'll just lightly spray. Oh, so fun. Guys, this is something you need to do with the solar sprays. And I'm holding it at a distance. Like, you can't even see my hand because it's probably like a foot away from the project. And I'm just really lightly misting these on the surface. And then last but not least, let's do a little bit of Neptune. I know, it looks like confetti. That was kind of the goal with this, to give it that hand-thrown confetti look. Oh no, I almost sprayed my white shirt, guys. All right, okay, that one was too much. We're wiping that off. And if you notice, these are pretty forgiving. So like if you get a little bit too much, you can always wipe it off. It just kind of dries into the surface a little bit more then. All right, then let's go in, wipe this off, and again, we'll go in and heat set this. But look, it's like confetti. It really is. That is gorgeous. All right, we'll dry this a little bit so you can really see that shine. I'm telling you guys, I've used these in the past in live streams, but it's on white cardstock. And the white cardstock is hard to show on camera, but on black, these things come to life. They really look amazing on the black. I mean, and for space cards, can you imagine? So fun. Definitely something that you'll want in your stash. And even if you just get like the gold, there is a golden hour one, which just sprays gold, so you can really spray gold over like any of your projects then. It's gorgeous. Then we're gonna go in and do some die cutting. So inside of this set, there are dies that also have the streamers to them, okay? So let me show you. There's these dies that have these two little streamers in the set, and they're gonna create some really great streamers we can put across our project. We're just gonna run this through like on different areas. You can find different areas of the project and put them in that are gonna give you different looks. So here we'll do that version of it. And the fun part is that you created your own cardstock with all this amazing texture, but also all this really great color throughout it. So now you can use that, it's gonna shift on me. Now you can use that great colored cardstock and run it through and die cut out of it. So I love this for like sentiments or for the streamers where you just want a bunch of really bright color. This can be so much fun. Okay, then let's go in, pull these guys out. Just like that. That is so fun. And then let's go in and keep cutting them out. So like for this one, let's flip it so that we've got like that lighter color there. And then let's go over here on this like blue to pinkish color. Just like that. And we'll just cut it out so that maybe we have like five streamers or 6 streamers. Awesome. Oh, Townsy Girl says, I just want to say your channel is the reason my friend group got into card making. That is so sweet. I am so happy that you guys got into card making and are enjoying it. That is so awesome. I love it. Love to hear it. I started when I was 12, so I love it when people get inspired and jump into card making as well. I think it's just so fun in a world where everything's so digital to still be crafting and making things with your hands. All right. Then let's go in and cut this out. I also want to cut out the cheers. I'm going to do that right out of there with that pinkish color that's there. And I know maybe it's hard for you guys to see the colors straight on like this, but I'll show you when we tilt it and you'll really be able to see the difference. Awesome. Okay. Okay, so we're going to pull these streamers out. And then we will cut out that sentiment. So pop out the sentiment. There we go. Oh, you guys are all so sweet. Jenna says that she got started from my channel too. Crabby Dave says that I got you into card making too. That is so sweet, you guys. I actually love that. Love hearing from you. Okay, then we'll go in, and for the actual cheers sentiment, we're gonna cut this out using white, okay? So we're gonna cut it out using stark white cardstock. And if you're using your die cutting machine, look, mine's already getting a little bit warped and this is brand new. It's because I always cut on the same side. You're gonna wanna flip. So as you're doing it, if you used this side before, flip it and then use the other side. And then the bottom plate, I always do the bottom plate for die cutting and leave the top plate not for die cutting. All right. Okay, so now we got the word cheers, sweet. And then you'll notice the shadow says cheers to you instead of just saying cheers. If you want that to be your full sentiment, you can cut out the to you too and adhere it down at the bottom. But here's what we're gonna do, okay? This is where you can get creative with this stuff. You can go into here, go in with your scissors, and I'm going to trim right underneath that and just separate it from the to you. It's really easy, okay? And you're just gonna go in and do that with all of the letters. Just like this. It's really simple, but it just separates it from the rest of the sentiment, and now we can just use this as cheers, okay? There's also a cheers in the set, but all the letters are separate, and you can make like a banner with it, like that, but I wanted them all as one, so there we go. So now we can take the cheers letters and pop them out. Just like this. So simple. And then we'll go in with our Barely Arts liquid glue, and I can start gluing these down now. Just like this. So we'll start off. And we can glue these down. Now, with these, I'm gonna go in with this little Altenew tweezers. I like to have a little tweezers on hand for something like this because this is a little more detailed and you just wanna make sure things are lined up. Then we'll glue down the H. Sweet, center it right in the middle of that shadow die. Look, that is stunning. I love it. And look, when you tilt it, you still get all that amazing solar spray from the background. So fun. Okay, then let's adhere this down to a card. To do this, I'm going to use one of the Stark White card bases. It's already cut and folded, or cut and scored. So we just need to fold it down. So we'll adhere that down, just like this. And then let's go in with our streamers, and you can see our streamers are way more colorful. You know, you might think that they would blend in, but really these streamers stand out because we sprayed a ton of the spray on top of it, that solar spray, and that solar spray is really gonna make it stand out. So for these guys, I'm gonna use some liquid adhesive, and we're just going to crisscross these across our card front. And I mean, it's a simple and fun card, but it really comes together nicely and super easy. All right, let's go in and pick some that are a little bit different. Oh, I love this one, okay. And we'll stream that across the other direction. So we'll do it like this. We can make it go like up to that corner. Hold it down for a second. Okay, and then let's see, this one can go like from here to there. So this is so fun that you are able to glue it down all over the background and create just a whole card with just the streamers. This kit from Justin Adkins is really amazing and versatile. And again, this kit was $98 value inside of it, and you can get it for $24. And of course, use that coupon code. That's SBC Fest with my link down below, and you can get an extra 10% off your entire order. So you can add some other Simon Hurley goodies in there, of course, while you're shopping. And get 10% off of everything, which is amazing. I love that Scrapbook.com is able to give you those deals, so you can really save money on your supplies. All right, should we do one right here too? I just want them to overlap like quite a bit, you know, just make it look kind of a mess of streamers, because that sometimes is what birthdays are, right? You just kind of hang streamers all over your house. So I want to just throw down a bunch of these really colorful streamers all across the card. So we'll do one down here. Should we do even one more? Let's see, can I find an area to put it? Oh, let's do it right there. Yeah, that's fun. I like that. So just glue until you can't glue anymore, right? All right. That is fun. I know, right? So Obsessed and Addicted says, I really didn't think they would show up, especially because the background has some spray in it. But because we sprayed them so heavily, I mean, look, when you look at this straight on, it doesn't look like much, but look, whoa. When you tilt them in the light, that solar spray takes over. That stuff is amazing, okay? I love it. So we'll just make sure that it's nice and stuck down with that liquid glue. Again, put our liquid glue cap on. All right. And then we'll go in, and I've been loving these shears too. These are from Spellbinders, but these are great for just trimming down the sides too, especially if there's like little pieces hanging off. I also love these because they're non-stick. So they're really great for like trimming foam tape down. So that's what I've been using them a lot for too. Just trim down all those pieces. And then we will swipe these off right onto our floor, right? All right. And then that is our card. And you'll notice that I left some room in the center here specifically for our cheers sentiment. All right, and then we're gonna take that cheers sentiment and place it right in the center of the card and pop it up on that foam tape to make it stand up really nicely from the rest of the card. And how fun is that? The solar sprays really made this birthday card come to life. When you look at them straight on, they of course look like solar sprays where you can't see much of the color, but then when you tilt them in the light, you get all that color that we sprayed in the background that looks like confetti, and all that really great color that is from the cheers background that we cut them out of those streamers to hang them all across the card. And of course, there's still that great streamer texture in the background too. This turned out absolutely gorgeous. And of course, think about these solar sprays for tons of different projects. I mean, this would be so fun for a space themed card and just spraying down on the butterflies like we did earlier to really get some cool interference colors. I love it. So I love that we were able to sit together on the eve of SBC Fest and create tons of card projects together and just get inspired using the kits. Of course, using Justin Adkins' kit, I used Gina K's kit, and I also mixed it up with some things from Leah Lawson's kit too, with tons of sparkle, butterflies, and birthday themes, and really created tons of projects. This has been a really, really fun night. I want to remind you guys that all these kits are still available at that really great discounted price. And using my link down below and the code SBCFest, you can grab these kits for even 10% off the already low price. So you get an amazing deal on those. You'll also want to check my link down below for the other videos in what we coined Simon Fest, because I took these kits in a couple videos live streamed past, and I created tons more cards. So if you have these kits, you're going to want to revisit those videos too so you can see even more inspiration using them. And then of course, click the link down below too to make sure you're all ready for scrapbook.com SBC Fest tomorrow. Make sure you have your notifications on so you aren't going to miss it tomorrow morning and that you are ready to go, because I know that I'm going to be super excited with my snacks. I'm going to be watching all day and getting tons of inspiration from all the amazing educators. Now also, don't forget about that Brutus Monroe deal as well. I used a bunch of amazing cardstock from Brutus Monroe today with the kind of holographic sparkly cardstock and using those sparkle overlays. And if you spend $20 using my link down below with Brutus Monroe, you will get that shattered sparkle overlay. It'll appear in your cart for free, and you can check out with that as well. So that's with a $20 purchase, you get that sparkle overlay for free. I always love when they give me deals and discounts like that I can share with you guys, so that you can get your crafting goodies at even better of a price and get so much value for all of your goodies. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you had a wonderful SBC Fest Eve with all of you, and it's been so much fun crafting together. I'll see you guys during SBC Fest tomorrow. I'll be in the comment section probably watching along with all of you, getting tons of inspiration. All right, see you guys soon.